All right, John, are you ready to potentially, I'm not going to say guaranteed, but potentially piss off some viewers this morning?
I do it every day. Watch it today, P. Any
Well, we
different?
just ranked the NFC East wide receivers. I feel like we got to do the quarterbacks too.
Oh, well, yeah, that's going to piss some people off.
All right, let's do it. We got 4 NFC East quarterbacks. Well, you could go 5. You could go 6 with all the Giants quarterbacks. All right. You got Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart. Take your dang pick from New York. You got Dak Prescott in Dallas. You got Jayden Daniels in Washington. And you got the greatness of Jalen Hurts in Philly. John, how you ranking the NFC East quarterbacks right now?
I think Jalen is number 2. I think you can figure out who number 1 is. I think Dak is number 3, and I think Russell is number 4.
That's not bad. Here's my question for you, though. You didn't want to put Neighbors up at 4 because he hasn't done it enough. So why Daniels at 1? Only got 1 year, John.
Because he was spectacular in that 1 year.
I mean, Neighbors was pretty spectacular too.
Well, did he elevate his team from nothingness into?
Well, he doesn't have that ability. He's a receiver.
He doesn't. But the point is that Jayden Daniels did a heck of a lot more than Malik Neighbors. And I'm very high on Malik Neighbors. Jayden Daniels is a phenomenal football player. And, he doesn't have, again, quarterback evaluation is broken. That's why I know I have to do it, but it's broken. It's broken. So if you put them in a vacuum, who's the better player? That's how scouts do it. That's how,
right.
People do it. He doesn't have the supporting cast, Jalen. And that's not Jalen Hurts' fault. I know everybody's going to get upset and they're going to get their panties in a bunch and they're going to get upset because I said panties in a bunch and that's sexist.
Well, Jalen does have a good team. I mean, I think that's a good thing for Eagles fans.
It should be. He's got a great fucking, and that's not his fault. And he's a phenomenal player, and he's an unbelievable. And I talk about all the positive traits, but he does not have the skill set of Jayden Daniels. He doesn't. And there's few people in the world who do. And some of them stink. One of them who does stinks, and that's Caleb Williams. So that's not just why. You saw what he did as a rookie. It's only going to get better. And I'm not talking statistically. Like I firmly expect him to have a worse season next year. I've said it pretty consistently than he had as a rookie, similar to CJ Stroud, but he's going to be a better quarterback. He's going to get better and incrementally better. And if they ever put a similar supporting cast around him, look the F out. That's all I got to say. Give him the number 1 defense. Give him the best running back in history. Look the hell out. That's all I got to say.
It would be hard for me to dispute that. I mean, Jayden did a lot with not that much and turned an organization around that hasn't won in 20 plus years in the playoffs. So it's hard to dispute that. I'm not going to put him over Jalen Hurts yet. I think Jalen is still the number 1 guys in the NFC East. I got Jayden at 2. I got Dak at 3, and I think Dak and Jayden are closer than people think. I think Dak is better than Eagles fans give credit for. I do. I just think
it's definitely better than Eagles fans.
I think he's a good quarterback. I think Dak is a good quarterback. Now he does struggle in the playoffs, which is a legitimate knock on Dak Prescott. He's just an interception machine when the lights get bright, and that does matter. But just raw talent. Dak 4, Jackson Dart number 4, or Dak 3, Jackson Dart number 4. But Russell, whatever. Take whatever Giants quarterback you think is going to play at number 4.
Well, I think Russell's better than Jackson Dart.
Me too. So. But I'm wondering if they just try and get Dart out there. And
they will eventually. Yeah. It might be, it probably won't be week 1, barring injury. It'll be, when their season is over, they'll put Dart out there, which will be pretty quick. Week 7, week 8.
Right.
When it will be clear they're not going to be in contention, then you want to get the young guy out there. You never know, though. Russell can manage games and get you. That's what he did in Pittsburgh. Didn't look good, but they won some games. But yeah, people should have known going into the draft last year. I'm a big freaking Jayden Daniels guy.
Yeah.
I think he's phenomenal. I think he's
all right. So we got some, John. You're reaching. The levels of stardom that you're reaching they know no bounds. As we have now an AI girlfriend for you, John. John McMullen's side chick is the name of the account. Checks in. Jayden Daniels is an elite talent. John is right. I don't know where this account comes from.
Yeah, getting me in trouble. I appreciate
Hopefully your
that.
wife's not watching the show. Yeah. Come on, man. This guy's got a wife. What are you doing here, man? Come on, show some respect.
Yeah. I just think it's, and I hate the term generational, but he's generational, man. This doesn't come around.
Man, you're really high on Jayden Daniels.
Yes, I am.
You're like super. You're like, you got him with the Burrows and the Lamars and the Allens and the Mahomeses of the world coming up.
I mean, he can do everything. Obviously he's, he runs for almost 900 yards, whatever he ended up with, but he's a tremendous passer. Normally you have to grow. Even Lamar had to grow in the passing aspect of it. And he's still got to grow. I'm not saying that's the scary part. He's going to get better. I mean, look, I get, and I get the people that was a garbage team that I wasn't even thinking about. Even now, it's like they're not better. They don't have a better roster than Detroit. They don't have a better roster than the Rams. They don't have a better roster than the Vikings. They don't have a better roster. But why do people put Washington in the conversation? Why did they make the championship game last year? Freaking the quarterback, elevating people. He elevates people to a significant degree.
I will say that playoff game that they had versus Detroit, that was an insane game.
Yeah. And there's off the field stuff, there's injury stuff. They went through this in Washington before with RG3. People forget RG3's rookie season. And he got hurt. And he was never the same. So there's a bunch of stuff that can go into it that can derail it, but he can play the position, and he's got unbelievable traits on top of it. So, like I always this year I joke, Dylan Gabriel can play the position. Yeah, well, he don't have the traits to be a star. He's got the traits to be a superstar, and he can play the position at a high level. And that's only going to get better.
Now you will admit, though, and I understand what you're saying, that, if you take the odds, traits matter, obviously. But there are moments where traits are great and they don't pan out or they don't work. You've seen number one.
You said with Caleb Williams. Stinks right now.
Why do you say that? I don't think he stinks.
Stinks. Can't play the position. Hopefully Ben Johnson can
teach him to play.
Teach him. But he stinks right now. And that's the reason I liked Jayden Daniels better to begin with, and I would have taken him number. I thought he was more ready to play. And that turned out to be correct. And I've gotten a bunch wrong over the years, so it's not about spiking the football. But I just think he can play the position. And that to me is more important than traits. But when you add that and you have like top 1-2 pick traits, then you got something special. And that's what the Commanders have. So they should enjoy it. Eagles fans, he's going to be a pain in the ass for a long time if he doesn't get hurt.
The way Johnny Mac's talking, this guy's going to run the NFC East. I don't see it. We'll see. Chris A.M. gives 10 membership. Holy crap. Chris A.M., thank you, brother. We got a lot of love this morning here on a Thursday, May 8th. How about that? A little Thursday love in May of the offseason. We appreciate all you guys. Chris, thank you, brother. For anybody that was gifted a membership, make sure you thank Chris A.M., all right? Chris is a big supporter of the show. Chris, Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. I got some words for you on Xander time too. If you stick around, I know you might be busy, but I appreciate everybody for being here. John, we got a great audience in here today. We'll take a quick commercial break, and then we'll talk about the defense coming out. All right. We talked a little bit about some of the players in the defense. More Jomo was brought up in a super chat. We talked about him. We talked about Bryce Hufflepuff, who has been given. They were giving them nicknames in the chat. They were trying to see who could come up with the best Huff.
It's bizarre,
nickname.
man. So I mean,
nicknames.
Look, when you guys go overboard, like I can't tell you how much I got shit on for calling Howie Roseman a top 5 general manager, 5-6 years ago. It was after, and Gil will tell you the story. It was after, sort of the downturn from the first Super Bowl into the Doug Peterson, the last year debacle. And I said, he's still a top 5 GM in football. Oh my God. I got shit on like you would not believe. Now now he's the greatest, he doesn't make mistakes. People are afraid to trade, but I bring it back. I try to bring it back. It's ridiculous. It goes too far. And when people, completely shit on NFL players who performed at a high level, granted in a different city, because he struggled in his first year. And Howie brought up Javon Hargrave, a little bit different because but Javon wasn't good his first year here. In the second year, turned into a Pro Bowl player. That's the comparison Howie made. And remember, by the way, I bring up Howie for a reason. The guy you think doesn't make mistakes gave him $51 million. So you got to work that out with yourselves. This is not the worst player in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. But, if they see it, they see it. If they see it elsewhere, they see it elsewhere. But yeah, he didn't live up to expectations last year, to say the least. But that doesn't make him the worst player in the history of football. And that's where some of the people go with it. It's just crazy to me.
It is. And I will vouch for you. I'll say this. Back in 2020, John, when we first started, now you worked with JAKIB a little bit earlier than that when you were doing radio stuff, but when we first started posting on YouTube, which there was no consistency at this point, this was late 2020. You were going on some radio shows with Tony Bruno and a couple of the guys, and we were taking your segments and posting them to YouTube. And then you did your Saturday show, Extending the Play. I'm sure you remember it. I don't know if other people remember it, but that's how we started basically the JAKIB YouTube, was with Johnny Mac's segments. And I do remember you saying that about Howie Roseman, and at that time it was like a big thing to post. You know what I mean? It was like John says Howie's top 5, and it was like a surprise for people. But obviously now he's everybody's calling him top 5, top 3. So good stuff. Good stuff there. I appreciate everybody being here. Hit that like button. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on Birds 365. Thanks for watching, everybody.